In the last 10 years, I went from this guy who couldn't talk to girls without shaking to this guy who got a relationship but didn't really know how to hold the frame in the relationship, and that ended up falling apart, to now this guy who can confidently approach anybody I want, and I make content for hundreds of thousands of people to watch, guys that want to get out of their heads, stop overthinking, and build up social confidence. I put out a lot of content in the last couple years, and there's a lot of banging advice that I have that will really help you overcome your social anxiety, overcome your approach anxiety, and get better with women, get more results, get more dates, get ghosted less, get flaked on less. So I put together a 2-hour movie of all of my best advice and best frameworks for how to get better with women in 2025. You can watch that here. I'll see you on the other side.
Within 30 seconds of meeting you, a girl is going to either categorize you as an option or a guy that she's gonna ignore. So you're gonna get reactions like this.
Hey, you guys look really cute today. Have a good day. Good morning. Oh, all right. Hey, you look really cute today. Have a good day.
Or you're gonna get reactions like this.
How's your day going? Good. You're about to go in Urban Outfitters for sure. Do you live around here? You are seriously breaking my heart right now. That's crazy.
Why?
That's awful. Well, because here's the thing. I was going to take you out for drinks. Let me grab your number real quick and we'll see what happens.
And what I've found in the 10 plus years of obsessing over how to become the most attractive guy that I possibly can be is that there are 3 main attraction killers that make women categorize you as a friend zone guy versus a sexual option. I'm gonna get into those in this video, as well as 3 ways that you can replace those unattractive behaviors so that you don't make those same mistakes again. So the first attraction killer is seeking approval. And seeking approval is just when you do stuff purely so that the girl likes you more. So if you get her flowers because, oh man, she'll probably like me more if I get her flowers, that is unattractive. Now, obviously we have Valentine's Day coming up. You can get a girl flowers for Valentine's Day as long as it's not purely for the reason of she's gonna like me more, she's gonna feel bad, I'm gonna make her have pity sex with me, which obviously doesn't work, it doesn't happen, but guys, try it way too much. So the behavior that you're gonna wanna replace this with, I'm gonna show you how to do it in just a second, is be more disagreeable. Okay, so how do you be more disagreeable? Well, first, you have to understand, what are my values? Because if you're gonna be more disagreeable, you have to be able to disagree. I know that sounds crazy. So you wanna write out what is important to me and what are my actual opinions on stuff. And this is actually an exercise I give my coaching clients inside my 8-week coaching program. So as they're going throughout their day, I want them to give their opinion on more things. So if there's ever a chance to have an opinion, whether it's to agree, to disagree, to say that you like or dislike something, I tell them to start owning every single opinion they have. You should be opinionated about things. You just should. So if a girl says, I like EDM music, and you hate EDM music and you think it sounds like shit, then say, I hate EDM music, I think it sounds like shit. You're not gonna be an asshole for saying that. You're just saying what your opinion is. It all comes down to the delivery, which brings me into point number 2, which is playful delivery. And we'll get more into teasing when we talk about how to replace the next unattractive behavior in this video. But playful delivery is very important when you're disagreeing. So if a girl says, yeah, I really like astrology, I'm really into astrology, and I say, astrology is such fucking bullshit. And I'm not mad about it, I'm not butthurt, I'm kind of laughing at the idea of astrology. And I'm not making it a big deal. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with her for 10 minutes on why it's bullshit. I'm just saying I think it's bullshit. And if she wants to argue with me, I'm like, hey, I don't wanna argue about it. I was just saying my opinion. And you don't need to make it a big deal. You can actually shut down a lot of these deep arguments and discussions by just being playful about it. You can even turn it into more of a tease where you say, oh my God, astrology girl? Fuck, okay, I don't know if this is gonna work out. And by saying that, saying you don't know if it's gonna work out, you're acknowledging that, hey, it's okay if you walk away, which at its core is disagreeable. And that is a very attractive trait. Because fundamentally, what women find attractive about a man, and this is you, by the way, what women will find attractive about you is if you're happy, whether she is here with you or if she's not here with you, because she does not want all of the pressure of having to make you happy. Because if you're too afraid to disagree, if you are afraid to offend her, if you can't playfully get into disagreements, if you can't stand on some values, or if you can't have opinions on things, then that indirectly puts a lot of pressure on her. Because if you think about it, if I care about your opinion on the other side of the screen, which to be fair, if I'm gonna deliver this in the best way possible, I really can't. I just have to deliver the information that I believe in and not think about, what is this person thinking of me? Is he thinking about what I'm wearing? Is he thinking about if the lighting's good enough? Is he thinking about if the audio is good enough? I can't think about that shit. I can review it later and I can look back and be like, how can this video be better? But I can't think about what could possibly be the worst case scenario of someone hating on my video. I just can't think like that. And so you can't think like that either when it comes to attracting women, because you're never going to display the most authentic and real version of yourself while you're afraid to disagree with the girl. So going forward, if you want to get rid of this approval-seeking tendency, you need to, one, start having opinions on things, and also be able to playfully disagree and not make a big deal out of the fact that you are disagreeing with the girl, because we can disagree on stuff and still be sexually attracted to each other. That's just what it is. I can be attracted to a girl, she can be attracted to me, and we can have slightly different values. We can have slightly different opinions on stuff. It really doesn't matter. A lot of guys get caught up in the weeds and they think that every single thing has to align between a man and a woman for them to be attracted to each other. That is just not true, because attraction is a fundamental biological thing. Women are attracted to men in general. And so if women are attracted to men in general, you already have a big leg up. You don't need to fucking agree with the girl and go along with what she says. If anything, like I said earlier, this approval-seeking behavior just puts a lot of pressure on her, because she's gonna be like, holy shit, he's taking this so fucking seriously. This is such a big deal to him, so it has to be a big deal to me, and I don't want it to be a big deal. I want things to just happen. I want things to flow. I want things to evolve. I want this to be a fun, emotional experience. I don't want to be stuck in this place of where I'm worried about if I'm gonna offend this guy by disagreeing with him, and every opinion that I have, he feels like he has to agree with me. That's not fun. Women want a chase, they want to work for your attraction. The second attraction killer that guys get into is they play it way too safe. And the best way to get rid of this playing it too safe mentality, which if you play it too safe, you'll get ignored or friend zoned, same thing with seeking approval, is to have an I don't give a fuck mentality. And there are three ways that you can do this. I'll get into this in just a second. Okay, how do we do that? How do we get this IDGAF mentality? Well, first, we're gonna have to practice teasing her through emotional spikes. I have a whole video on how to tease girls. I think I have like 10 to 30 lines that you can steal in that video on this channel. It's been posted in the last couple months. So you can go check that out. You can also join the school down below, and I have a training where there's 30 plus lines that you can steal from me directly for 10 different types of teases. So there's a lot of lines that you can literally just steal. And I'll just give you a couple right now. So the first way you can tease a girl is you can say, "You're cute, but." So, "You're cute, but I'm just not sure about you. You're cute, but you're into astrology. I don't know if this is gonna work out. You're cute, but I've dated a nurse before and it didn't go that well." When you use this line and deliver it in a playful way, it has a really powerful effect, because it shows that you're not too concerned if she walks away, but it also frames you as the prize, because you're confident enough to say that she's attractive, that you're attracted to her. But that's not everything that you need in order to actually like her. The second teasing line you can use is just, "You seem like trouble." It's like a classic one. You can just say, "You seem like trouble." And if she asks why, "Oh, I don't know, something about you, I'm not sure." And just keep it vague. It's a little corny, it's a little cheesy, it's kind of overused, but it does work at the end of the day. And I like using it, it works really well. It spikes the girl's emotions. She's like, why do I seem like trouble? Why does he like me? If she's innocent, she's like, why do I seem like trouble? Why is this a thing? If she's not innocent, then she's like, how does he know this about me? How does he know I'm trouble? So it works on a lot of different levels. If you just inject that in a playful way into the interaction, that's gonna help with teasing. But I also would recommend, check out the school down in the description. I'll teach you literally how to tease step by step. So the second thing you need to do is eliminate fear of loss. Now, this is done through basically fixing your behaviors. There's a lot of little behaviors that guys engage in that show a lot of fear of loss. So if I was afraid that you would think that what I'm saying is stupid and you'd stop watching the video, I would probably start talking way faster and trying to convince you. It'd have a lot more of a frantic tonality. I'm like literally getting anxiety trying to talk like this. I would come off more anxious. I would come off more tense. Like, I really care that you pay attention to me. Guys, pay attention, pay attention. I would try to make a really big deal out of things. I would have a lot of fear of loss. I'd probably be more nervous. I'd have more closed off body language. Maybe I'd be facing away from the camera because I'm nervous. And I'd be kind of doing this. Maybe I'd have like hunched body language. But if I'm able to look at the camera and talk slower, I'm probably talking at a cadence that is better than how I've done earlier on in this video. And I'm able to talk with my hands, show you my hands, and I talk about the 3 things that we're gonna talk about in this video that are gonna help you get better with women and eliminate fear of loss. You don't feel like I'm scared you're gonna go away. You're gonna feel like I have something valuable I'm gonna teach you, because I'm gonna give you value. Yes, you can eliminate fear of loss in your head by being like, oh, I don't care if the girl leaves. But let's be real, dude. We do care if the girl leaves. We're attracted to her. So it'd be much better for us to just fix the behaviors. Fix the little tiny things in your behavior, like talking too fast, breaking eye contact. When you finish a sentence, if you break eye contact, you're scared of the reaction. Oh my God, how's she gonna react to this? So hold eye contact when you finish a sentence, especially when you say something that you think might be controversial. Hold the fucking eye contact and talk slower. Open up your body language more and just be more relaxed. This will show that you don't have as much fear of loss. Another way to eliminate fear of loss is this one right here, which is to take more risks in your interactions. If you take anything away from this video, it's that the most attractive thing you can do is take risks and say the risky motherfucking thing, dude. I'm not saying like talk to her for 5 minutes and lean in and try to kiss her. But I am saying, if you think of a polarizing, kind of fucked up joke, say the fucking joke, dude. Say the joke. Be polarizing. Say the risky thing. If you think, oh, she reminds me of my ex, say that shit to her. If you think she might be a little crazy, hey, I think you're fucking crazy. When were you gonna tell me that? And you say that shit with confidence, and you take risks like a bold motherfucker. If you take more risks, you come off as much more bold. You come off as a guy that doesn't have as much fear of loss, and that makes actually her feel safer. She is gonna feel safe around a guy that's comfortable taking risks. Because if you're comfortable taking risks, you have nothing to lose. A guy that takes risks is in abundance. A guy that refuses to take risks is in scarcity, and that's very unattractive. And that actually leads me really well in to point number 3. So the third attraction killer that will make women ignore you or friend zone you is being in a scarcity mindset. And so obviously the answer to this is to be in a more abundant mindset. But how do you actually do that? Because people talk about abundance, and it's honestly a lot of bullshit. So we're gonna break it down into 3 main pieces with some actionable advice, because I actually want you to get some fucking results from this YouTube channel. There are 3 steps to getting into abundance. The first step is to understand your value. So what I actually want you to do is write down 20 things per day. And this is new things. And this is actually something I directly have my coaching clients do inside my program. 20 things per day that would make it a good idea for the girl to go home with you or sleep with you or go on a date with you. You need to call it 20 things, new things per day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I promise you, no matter what, even if you're like an autistic, wheelchair-bound dumbass, okay, and you have no social skills or anything, you can find 20 things per day for at least a few days in a row that would make it a good idea for a girl to go on a date with you. Even if it's just like, I have a good heart and I try and I have good intentions with the girl. It can literally be the most beta sim shit ever, but you need to understand your value. You need to understand the value that you bring. And so whenever I think of my value, I have a list of like 300 things that would make it a good idea for me to talk to this girl. Things that I could give to this girl that would make it a good idea for her to hang out with me. And when I go up with these things in my mind, I'm confident it's a good idea for her to talk to me. I feel entitled. I come off entitled and I come off more confident. I come off more in abundance because I understand I have so much value to give. When you're in scarcity, you're thinking about how much value can I take? We need to switch that paradigm into how much value can I give to people around me? And this goes for women you meet, guys you meet, people you want to introduce to each other, networking, business, anything. You want to try to give as much as you can. Now, the next thing you need to do is have a massive amount of self-acceptance. What you have to understand is that you, my good friend, watching this video, you are where you are at right now in your dating life, and there's nothing you can do about it. If I asked you to lose 30 pounds right now, you couldn't do it. It's impossible. If I asked you to be more charismatic right now, you could maybe be like 5% more charismatic if you tried, but you couldn't really do it. You need to practice. You need to get experiences. You need to take action first. So it's very important if you're gonna be in an abundant mindset, you have to accept where you're at right now. And I am fine with where I'm at right now. When I was a 19-year-old basically virgin. I lost my virginity in high school. I was just completely lucky. I just was on the basketball team. And that was it. And like, I got a girlfriend. From there, I just was hopeless with girls. I didn't get any success after high school. Had no idea what I was doing when I got into pickup. And I had to accept, I am where I'm at. I'm like a skinny, fat, tall, goofy, kind of socially awkward guy. It's pretty insecure. And I had to own it. It's not until you own who you are and you have self-acceptance that you can really start to work on yourself. If you don't own where you're at right now, as the 5'7" brown dude that's socially awkward and you moved to the US 4 years ago, if you don't own that and you're trying to act like you're not that, then you're never gonna improve because you're not even understanding where you're at as a baseline. And that's how you're gonna get results initially. You're gonna get results initially by actually being the completely authentic, completely unfiltered, obnoxious, and out there version of yourself who you are right now. Because there's levels to game. The first level is self-acceptance, finding your level. What value are you bringing to the girl's life at this moment? And just owning who you are at the moment. Like I remember when I was 21, I was like, man, when I can afford coaching, I'm gonna be so good at this, it's gonna be so cool. But I had to accept who I was at 21, like a dorky, awkward kid. Man, when I'm 30, and I have money and I'm successful and I'm cool, I have an advanced career, I'm in better shape, I'm gonna be awesome. But I also had to accept where I was then, or else I wouldn't have gotten results then. But I did get results then because I had this critical piece, which is self-acceptance, and I understood my value. And then that brings me to the third piece of how to get into an abundant headspace. Give first, okay? When you go up to the girl, try to give her a fun time first. Crack a joke first. Talk about yourself first. Carry the conversation first. Bear the burden of the conversation. Make it on you. I'm the man. I'm gonna lead. I'm gonna take responsibility for making this fun, at least for me. When I was starting out, I didn't know how to have conversations with girls. So my whole goal was just, I'm gonna go up and I'm going to try to have the most fun conversation with this girl for me. I want it to be the most fun from my perspective, and hopefully she likes that. And that's it. And this is really where you can start giving a lot, because you can give her what you think is a fun experience initially. So like I said, crack the joke first, have fun first, bring fun into the interaction. And if you do this enough and you practice this enough, you will get into an abundant headspace, because you'll be a guy that understands, I bring value into the interaction, I accept where I'm at, and I'm going in, and no matter what, I'm trying to give as much of a fun time to this person as possible. And then eventually you start stacking up positive reactions, positive interactions, positive sets. You'll start getting numbers. You start getting a couple dates. And this is how guys in my coaching program can get their first 2 to 3 dates from cold approach in 8 weeks as total beginners, because they actually are good enough to get dates with just self-acceptance. Now, if you want to get really good, you might have to keep going for a while. Might be a longer process. But to get into an abundant headspace, you don't need tons of dates. You don't need tons of lays. You just need to accept where you're at right now. You need to understand the value you bring, and you need to go in with the mindset of, I'm going to give. I can give this girl a good time and not lose anything, even if I don't get anything in return. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to go from saying hello to a girl that you don't know, whether it's on apps, in day game, on the street, or in a club, and get her phone number in a way that is solid, that actually leads to a date. And this is gonna be very beginner friendly. So even if you don't know what you're doing, if you're me when I was 19 and I was shaking when I talked to girls, if you run through this framework that I'm gonna get into in this video, then you will be able to get numbers that lead to dates. Knowing how to run an interaction is probably the most confusing part of talking to women. It's always really inconsistent. You never know where you went wrong, at what point in the process you went wrong. Usually by the time that you think it's your texting or you think it's how you acted on the first date, there's something in the first interaction that threw her off and kind of spoiled the entire interaction in the first place. And so if you want consistent results with girls, the first thing you have to do is take a scientific mindset to this. And I know it sounds a little cringe, it sounds a little autistic, but honestly, do we care about getting results and actually meeting our future wife and having an amazing life, having an amazing family, and ultimately living a life that is fulfilling, that's full of abundance, and not wondering where our next date's gonna come from? Or do we care about feeling fairy tale, feeling magical? Because honestly, life doesn't really work like that. There's no fairy tale princess that's gonna sweep you off your feet, bro. I'm sorry to say. So you need to understand the 5 steps of a solid interaction that leads to an actual number. And you can remember these 5 steps through my amazing acronym here that is super easy to pronounce. OVEPC. OVEPC. Very good. Very cool. Okay, so obviously you see a girl, she's on the street, she's cute, she looks good. You want to open and get not just her attention, but get her attention in a strong way where she is paying attention to you. So whether you're on a dating app and you need to send a message that stands out from other guys, that's very bold and confident, or you go up with really strong sub-communication in person and you say, hey, excuse me, I thought you were very cute and I had to meet you. Whatever the opener actually is, it has to get her attention and be strong. And this is really going to be a theme throughout the video. In general, you just need to practice this stuff. You need to practice these behaviors. I had a guy in my one-on-one coaching program text me today. He just started and he was like, dude, I opened 2 girls today at the mall and they both had boyfriends. What am I doing wrong? Dude, you don't know. You have no idea. You've talked to 2 total women. You need to understand how you're actually coming off over the aggregate. You need to know over a long period of time, 10, 20, 30 approaches, how do I come off? Could I come off more confident? Could I be louder? Could I make better eye contact? These are all things that are really important. So when you open, make sure you're getting her attention in a really strong and confident way. So once you've gotten her attention in a strong way, you're going to be starting a conversation. You're going to get into a pretty normal, relaxed conversation, but you want to focus on building value. And building value is going to be done through your behaviors and also through lines. So lines would be, how do I describe my job? Like, I love my job. I help guys with confidence and social skills. It's super fulfilling. That frames me as liking my job, being a positive person, being ambitious. If I talk about a cool place that I live or a cool travel story, whatever it is, that frames me as having experience, right? These things are high value. That's going to build value in the eyes of the girl. But you have to keep in mind your behaviors are building value as well. If I show up to the girl and I'm like standing like this and I'm like, yeah, I guess like I travel and stuff and it's kind of okay, it's going to come off really low value. But if I'm squared up, I'm feeling very confident, I'm relaxed, I'm taking up a lot of space, I feel very good and very calm, and I'm not reactive to her, that behavior is going to come off very confident, very charismatic, and she's going to view me as higher value because I'm not worried about what is her reaction going to be. So if I go up to a girl, I get her attention in a strong way. Hey, excuse me, I thought you were very cute. Wanted to meet you. What's your name? And I'm not reactive. When she gets all giggly and hyper and nervous, I go, oh, are you nervous? It's cool if you are. It's totally fine. If I stay relaxed and calm, that's a very attractive trait. That's going to build a ton of value. And if the girl doesn't see value in hanging out with you again, then she's not going to text you. It doesn't matter if she gives you her number. If you haven't built value, this is usually where guys mess up the most. So if you're wondering why girls aren't meeting up with you, a lot of times it comes down to value. And it's not just the lines and stuff you say, it's also how you come off. If you come off hesitant, like you're second guessing yourself, you're breaking eye contact after you say something risky, that's obviously not gonna help. Now, the third thing you need to do when you're in the interaction is at some point you need to spike emotions. So this can be done through teasing. I have a whole video on the channel where you can literally just steal teasing lines from me and you can just use them for yourself. But you can also spike emotions by just being cocky. So for example, if I ask her what she does for fun, I might say something like, so what do you do for fun other than hit on tall, charming guys? That implies that she's hitting on me. And it's a cocky thing to say, which is gonna get her to think, why is this guy saying this? Why does he think he can say this? Why is he framing it like that? It's going to spike her emotions. A lot of guys, and I've done this graph before, but a lot of guys want the girl's emotions to be constantly high over time. So time is down here, emotions are here. They want the emotions to stay high the whole time. You actually just want emotions to go up and down the whole time. You want variance in emotions. That is going to make the interaction so much more memorable, and she's going to be so much more attracted to you because she'll be thinking about you long after you guys stop talking initially and she gives you her number. Once you've spiked emotions, you're gonna want to talk about plans. Guys make this mistake all the time. I used to make this mistake all the time. You talk to her, you spike emotions, you build value, she thinks you're cool, then you just get her number and you run away. You need to soft close. Soft closing can be something as simple as, what do you have planned this weekend? Got anything fun planned? Then she says, oh no, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. Oh, cool, I was actually gonna check out this new sushi spot. You should come with me. And then when she says yes, now you have soft close. And you have a reason to actually close, which is gonna be getting her number. And just a small tip here, when you ask for the girl's number, don't ask. Just say, okay, cool, give me your number and we'll make some plans. If you run this entire interaction properly and you hit all of these check boxes, then the numbers you get are gonna be super solid. The problem is doing all 5 of these really consistently. You have to be able to go up to girls with charisma, with strong energy, where you're not shaken, you have high levels of confidence, high levels of certainty in yourself, which comes from high levels of self-acceptance, high levels of understanding who you are and being okay with that. And also, honestly, a lot of it's just gonna come from experience, and you have to be willing to face rejection, be desensitized from rejection to be able to let go of that outcome that you're so worried about that gives off such a creepy, needy vibe.
I used to get stuck in the friend zone a lot, and it sucks. Women don't take you seriously. It feels like pulling teeth trying to figure out what you're doing wrong. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 4 unattractive mistakes that nice guys make that turn women off. The first unattractive mistake is not showing interest early enough. When you don't show interest early enough, it just comes off like you aren't confident enough in yourself to go after what you want, and that's a very unattractive trait. Watch what happens in this clip when I approach a girl with very clear, confident, and direct intent.
Hey, excuse me. We made eye contact for like 3 seconds. And I'm like, I gotta come back. Good. You're fucking exactly my type, so that's good.
I was just telling her you're my type.
Fucking perfect. Yeah, tall white guy. It's a classic one. I have a meeting in 3 minutes, so I'm gonna get your number.
Great.
I'm here till Sunday.
Now in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to fix all these unattractive mistakes that nice guys make to turn women off. But you're gonna wanna make sure you stay till the end, because there's a couple points that will tie all of this very tightly together. Now to be clear, guys, for point number 1, I'm not telling you to show tons of interest right off the bat. Just don't be afraid to show interest. Like with this girl, I say, yeah, you're really my fucking type, but I'm not making a big deal out of it. I wanna show you a couple clips of me trying to approach with a compliment first, where I say, yeah, you're really pretty. It comes off like I'm hoping that will make her like me more. And when you give a girl a compliment from a place of, I want you to like me more, that's obviously very unattractive.
Excuse me. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
What's your name? Hey, excuse me. You're just very cute. You're very my type.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Oh, okay, are you leaving? All right, that's fine. Bye.
So if you want to avoid the friend zone, you want to avoid this first mistake of not showing intent too early, I just want you to think about it more like I'm not afraid to show intent. And one exercise you can actually do that I did when I was in my early 20s was I would show intent very early on and just not care if I got the results or not. Like the whole point was for me to desensitize myself from talking about, hey, I think this girl's attractive. Another thing you actually try, which sounds kind of weird, is you can talk about with your female friends other women that you find attractive in a way that you would talk about it with your boys. Like, oh my God, that girl's so fucking hot. Like say I'm talking to my friend Amanda, right? And she's friends on me for 5 years. And I see a cute girl, I can just say, oh my God, she's so fucking cute. That girl's like exactly my type. And just the act of telling a girl, hey, I have a sex drive, that's a really hard thing for a lot of nice guys, and that's why women don't take you seriously. They don't see you as honestly even having a fucking penis. They don't even picture you like that. They have this blindfold over their face that's like, this guy is a friend. This guy's like my gay best friend. I don't take him seriously. I don't see him as an option. And if you're trying to be good with girls, that is obviously not where you want to be. So once you get over your fear of showing intent and showing interest, telling the girl you're actually attracted, what's the second unattractive behavior that's turning girls off? Pop out to my pool real quick. The second unattractive behavior is erratic and overly excited body language. When I talk to a girl and I'm like, oh yeah, oh that's so cool, I can tell I'm rapport seeking. I can tell I'm really trying to get this person to like me. And that's super icky to just people in general. Anybody that's confident will tell you that they don't like it when people try to convince them to like them. If I came up to you and I was like, hey man, you should really buy my coaching. Hey man, you should really buy the school community. Link down below, it's really good, I promise. It's gonna sound like I'm trying to scam you. It's gonna sound like I'm trying to get something from you. But when you can communicate in a very authentic way, in a relaxed way, and not try to do too much in the interaction, then you actually come off as much more attractive. A lot of nice guys will try to be nice and make jokes for the girl's entertainment. And don't get me wrong, be funny. If you're a funny guy, like I'm a funny dude in my interactions, I'm trying to be as funny as possible, right? But I'm trying to be as funny as possible with everybody. I'm not just trying to be funny so the girl thinks I'm attractive. I'm not trying to be funny so the girl thinks I'm interesting. I'm trying to be funny because that's who I am, and that's the most authentic version of me. So when you're talking to a girl that you like, try to slow down. Don't nod too much. Do the, yeah, oh, cool. Slow down. Spread out your body language. I have a whole video on dominant subcommunication, how to be more dominant, how to be more attractive with your subcoms. And chill the fuck out, okay? And you might feel like you're not doing enough in the interaction. You might feel like you're being boring. But I promise you, you're gonna be glad that you slowed down and practiced, even if you don't get immediate results. Girls will start to take you more seriously. You'll start to get more rejection, which actually brings me into mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 that nice guys make is that they don't ever get rejected. Because you're so afraid of getting rejected, bro, and you're so afraid of this girl not liking you, you never go for what you want. You're never bold enough, you're never confident enough, and that gets you put in the friend zone. Girls don't want a guy that is okay with just kind of being normal. They don't want a guy that is afraid to go for what they want. They want a guy that is going to be bold, that can be confident, that can make the edgy joke and confidently laugh at the joke because he thinks it's funny, because he gets his validation from himself. And that's the most attractive thing you can possibly have as a guy, is just the ability to validate yourself. I'm not telling you to be some red pill dipshit that thinks that women are stupid and women's opinions don't matter and women don't know what they want. Women do know what they want. Women know exactly what they're attracted to. They know exactly how they feel. But I am telling you that girls don't want a nice guy that does nice things because he wants the girl to like them. That's what's so unattractive. Anything that you do purely for the girl's validation is unattractive. And you can get away with a couple mistakes here and there, but in general, you have to learn how to validate yourself. And this is why the first thing that I do whenever I coach a new client is I give them mindsets that help them validate themselves first, because that's the most important thing. And you don't need to go on some massive long journey of self-discovery. Learning how to validate yourself is a pretty quick process if you actually know what you're doing. It takes 1-2 weeks to get to the point where you're okay with rejection. You know what, I'm gonna roll some clips of me getting rejected and show how I handle rejection. Here are some clips from my trip to Miami.
Excuse me. Fuck. Yeah, bro. Hey, excuse me. You are very pretty.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. Fuck. Hey, excuse me. You're just very cute. You're very my type.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Oh, okay, are you leaving? Alright, that's fine. Bye. Excuse me. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
What's your name?
So in those clips, you literally see me handling rejection, taking rejection, getting blasted, basically. Girls, like, you can tell these girls are not interested at all. They don't want to stop and talk to me. They might think I'm weird, whatever, but I'm okay with that because I know who I am. And I know that if she rejects me, she just rejected my approach. She rejected my process. She rejected how I acted, how I presented myself, and that's okay. Because I can look back on that clip and I can see, okay, I could have done this better. I could have had better tonality. I could have been more authoritative. I could have been more confident and relaxed. There's a lot of things I could do in these clips where I get rejected. And even then, sometimes a girl's just in a bad mood, bro. Sometimes she just doesn't want to talk to you, and that's okay. But at least you're living fully authentically and you're going for what you want when you see a girl that you want to talk to. There's nothing worse than living life with regret. And that brings me to unattractive mistake number 4, which is living life on the terms of other people. One of the most unattractive things, and honestly, it goes beyond just being unattractive. One of the things that will suck the soul out of you as a man is not going for what you want in life. And I can tell you this as a guy that lived most of his life inauthentically. And even now, I still struggle to live authentically. I'm not perfect with this shit. I coach guys because I'm a little bit better than the average dude with this. There's guys that are much more authentic than me. There's guys that are much more confident than me. And that's just what it is. But I know that for me, I'm so much more proud of myself when I go for what I want in life. Whether it's I see a girl and I want to talk to her, and I go up and I talk to her. Or I invite her on a night out with my friends. Or I try to make a new friend. I talked to a guy, James, in my gym today. Cool dude. I just said, hey man, I like your tattoos, bro. Fucking sick sleeve. He has like the sickest, honestly, probably the sickest sleeve I've seen here in Nashville. I think it's dope. And so now I made a new buddy because I was able to just compliment a dude on his fucking tattoos. And when you start out on this journey and you're too nice and you're living on other people's terms and you're used to overly concerning yourself with what other people think of you, it will be hard to go after what you want. It will be hard to see that girl and be like, I feel entitled to interrupt her day to talk to her. But I promise you, as you get more confident, as you build up more self-worth, and you realize the value you actually bring, and more importantly, you actually start building up your own value, so you genuinely are making the girl's life better by being inside of it, you will be glad that you did. You'll be glad you trained yourself on this, because that girl, whoever she is, even if she's taken, she would like a guy to come up to her and go after what he wants. She wants a guy in her life that will go after what he wants. And maybe she has that. Maybe she already has a boyfriend, but she will still respect you for going after it. The more confidence I build, the more respect I get from women. And that's ultimately the most attractive thing, is when a girl respects you, she's like, damn, fuck. Like, I don't even like that guy, but respect. That is the best thing that you can have, because it makes you feel like a fucking man. It makes you actually feel good about yourself. And so that brings me to the final point that ties this all together. This journey of getting better with women, building social confidence, this is not for women. This is for you, bro. This is so you can get better. This is why when I hear guys talk about, oh, I would never invest in my dating life, I would never try to get better, I don't have time for this, I'm going to work on my business, I'm going to work on my physique. Bro, you're working on this for all the wrong reasons. You're working on your physique, not for yourself. You're working on it so girls will like you. You're working on this external shit so other people will think you're cool. It doesn't matter what part of your life you work on or try to improve. You should be improving everything, honestly. You should be trying to get in better shape, build more confidence, make more money at your job. You should be doing all that shit. Why wouldn't you? It doesn't make sense not to have the best life you possibly can. It just doesn't. It's never made sense to me to have any sort of life that is less than what it could be. Why wouldn't I optimize everything? Why wouldn't I be a fucking nerd about my game and talking to women? Talking to women's like half the population. Why wouldn't I do that? What, so I can feel like a good ego trip because I'm better than women? Because, oh, I don't need to talk to women. Women are just, whatever, not a priority, bro. Not a priority. If you start living like a real fucking authentic killer, that's like just this dude that goes through life and he's the shit. And he's cool, and he goes for what the fuck he wants, lives with like this lust for life, like I'm gonna fuck the world every day. If you live like that, dude, it is the best fucking thing. It is the best feeling you can possibly have. And that's coming from a guy that I used to be a pussy. I still am a pussy sometimes. Like, there's a reason why I don't have 1 million on Instagram. There's a reason why I don't have 1 million on YouTube. I'm a pussy sometimes. I don't make enough content sometimes. I don't do enough. I don't talk as authentically as I could on camera. I don't work hard enough sometimes. Sometimes I'm shy. You literally just saw clips of me getting blown out by girls in Miami that realistically I should just be able to stop. Like, I'm a tall, like pretty good looking, cool guy. But sometimes I get shy. The difference between me and you watching the video is that I'm just willing to put it all on the line and put it all out there. And that means that even if I'm less talented, even if I'm less naturally gifted with charisma and confidence and belief in myself, and the odds are stacked against me, I'm going to win more than the guy that's so insecure he never goes for what the fuck he wants, even if he has all the reasons in the world to win. So remember, this journey's about yourself, bro. Being insecure around women is probably the least attractive thing that you can do, and a lot of guys are insecure without even knowing it. I know when I was growing up and I was starting this journey of building social confidence, building my charisma and skills with women, I was coming off really insecure and I didn't even realize it. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 ways that guys come off as insecure, and the last 2 ways guys come off as insecure are actually not very obvious at all, and they're probably the reason you're getting a lot of these nice to meet you, I just want to be friends, I don't feel a connection type of texts. So the first and most obvious thing that guys do that come off as insecure is you're just like shaking, super nervous, not making eye contact, not feeling good enough to approach the girl, which is obviously a big turnoff. And the best way to overcome this that I've found is just by being more social in your day-to-day life. What I actually have is I have a 20 to 30 minute morning routine that I go through every single day that involves social interaction, that involves saying good morning to people, high-fiving people on the street, getting into interactions, showing some intent, giving compliments, all of these things, building up consistent actions throughout my day that make me more social so that I don't come off insecure in my actual interactions with people in the first 10, 20, 30 seconds. This is where people are going to judge you the most, and you just need to understand that people are going to see you as super insecure if you're not able to get this under control and feel calm just approaching or talking to people on the street. The second and less obvious way that you might be coming off insecure
insecure, and I still do this to this day, probably a little too much, is using too many filler words. Some of the worst filler words are obviously like. I know a lot of guys that say I guess after questions. I know a lot of guys that say I guess after they make a statement. So I want to do this, I guess. And really what you're doing is you're softening that so that people can judge you less, but it just comes off insecure because you're not sure what you want. And so you don't want to do that. What you can do if you have these verbal tics and you know that this is something you want to change is you can just talk slower in your day-to-day life. And when you catch yourself, just acknowledge it in your head. Like, okay, cool. I know I did the verbal tic. I'm going to stop and go back, and I'm going to repeat that same exact sentence again. And it might be weird. It might come off as cringe or awkward, but as a guy that was learning this stuff in my early 20s, I would have rather just had an awkward situation come up and had to deal with the fact that I repeated myself without the filler words and have to explain that and be like, yeah, well, I'm trying to get rid of filler words, and that's a really bad habit, and I don't like that I do it, so I just make myself repeat it. And even if that's a little weird, a lot of people will honestly respect that, which leads me into point number 3. So point number 3 is giving in too easily to social pressure, because the fact is, guys, if you're watching this channel, you want to get better at socializing, talking to women, and building your social confidence, which is not normal. Okay, it is not a normal average thing for the normal average guy to do, to go outside, practice socializing, push his social confidence, approach women on the street. And honestly, too many guys have big egos around, oh, I'm actually good with girls, I don't need to work on this. And so there's gonna naturally be a bit of judgment that comes from the average, normal, kind of bro dude that's gonna be directed towards you, and you're gonna have to be able to deal with that. The biggest thing that I see guys doing is giving into the temptation to drink when you go out at night, or just not approaching girls that are in groups because they're worried that people will judge them. The fact is, if you want to be a guy that women are super excited to see, you need to be confident enough to say at a bar when you're talking to a girl, yeah, I'm out alone, or yeah, I'm not drinking. Really, those things are not that big of a deal as long as you own what you're doing. So many guys half-ass this part of their life because they're worried about coming off weird or coming off not cool. There is no room for being cool in this, guys. There's just room for getting results and getting better. And that's what you should care about a lot more than being cool. So if this is you, if you run into this and you actually find yourself being insecure around these things, what I want you to do is I just want you to fucking own the thing you're insecure about, the thing you're worried the person's gonna judge you about. Whether it's a nerdy hobby like video games, or just the fact that you're working on your social skills and you're trying to get better at going out and talking to women, going out at night and not drinking, whatever it is, own that shit. Own that shit, man. And then just realize that no one really cares. And if they do, fuck them, because you care about your goals more than you care about what other people think of you. And that's the type of guy you want to be anyway. So the next way that guys come off as really insecure when they're talking to women is they're way too put off by a single rejection when they're trying to escalate. So say you're talking to a girl, you're on a date, and things are actually going really well, and you try to kiss the girl, and she says no. A lot of guys will get really insecure about that and be like, well, I guess this date's ruined. Well, I guess she doesn't ever want to kiss me. And they might even second guess if they want to try to kiss her on the second date, which is insane to me. When you get rejected, it just means no in the moment. That's all that means. And if you don't put pressure on the other person to do something that they don't want to do, a lot of times they'll open up to the idea of escalating more in the future, even on the same date. A lot of times if I try to kiss a girl and she says no, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, no problem, we're not going to do anything you don't want to. Later on in the date, she actually wants to kiss me because I showed that, hey, there's no pressure here, you don't have to do any of this stuff, it's not a big deal. So if you're catching yourself being insecure about this type of thing, then all you have to do is just take the rejection in stride and realize it doesn't mean anything long term. It just means in the moment, right now, this isn't it. That's actually totally fine. Doesn't mean that she doesn't like you, doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that she doesn't want to kiss you right now, or she doesn't want to go back with you, or she doesn't want to do XYZ, whatever thing. So the final thing that guys do that makes them look super insecure is assuming that other people are judging you or looking down on you. As a guy, especially if you're watching this channel, really the only thing you should be worried about is what are my goals and what are the actions I need to take to reach those goals. And that is it. You shouldn't be worried about if people judge you, if people look down on you. Shouldn't worry about any of that stuff. And honestly, if you're the type of guy that thinks other people are judging them and looking down on them, you're probably the type of guy that compares himself to other people way too much. And that's actually not a very admirable trait. What you should be comparing yourself to is just who am I today compared to who I was yesterday. And that's really all that matters. So if you catch yourself caring too much about what people think, or thinking that other people are going to judge you for approaching a girl in public, or for going for what you want in life, or just generally taking risks, doing anything that's outside the norm, realize that that's because you feel insecure about yourself. It has nothing to do with the other people. You're just projecting your own insecurities onto other people. And that was something that was honestly very, very hard for me to acknowledge. And I'm probably going to get some guys in the comments that are like, bro, but there's actually some, I'm actually really weird and people are actually judgmental and this and that. And yeah, man, you might just not be there yet where you're ready to accept this reality, but it is something that makes you come off insecure, and it's something that's going to turn girls off when you go on dates with them. So if you like this video and you want to work with me personally on how I can help you overcome your insecurities, approach consistently, and just learn generally how to be better with women, build a better social life, build a better dating life, and just master your own inner self-confidence. When I first started approaching women, I was obsessed with lines. What are the lines that are going to get her super excited to see me, super excited to meet me again? And I got really, really obsessed for like 10 years. And I've come up with basically 3 lines that almost any guy can plug and play into his interactions. And I also have a rule that I'm going to show you on how to implement these lines and deliver them properly so that you'll drive women crazy when you use them. So the first line that I use all the time is, see, this is why it won't work between us. There's a couple reasons this is so powerful. One, it shows no fear of loss. I'm okay if you walk away. It shows a lot of confidence. It also tells her that you're not putting her on a pedestal. You're not saying that just because she's beautiful, you're going to compromise all your values, all your principles, and change yourself completely just to make it work because she's an attractive woman, which also can imply a little bit of pre-selection. Kind of implies that you have success with attractive women in the past, which can be a very attractive trait as well. Girls want a guy that knows what they're doing. In general, guys, anything that you can say that implies that you know what you're doing, very attractive. You should definitely do it. Before I get into line number 2, it's really important that you guys understand the delivery of these lines. You cannot just deliver the line like, this is why it won't work between us, and expect that it's going to work. You have to have relaxed, slow, and calm subcommunication that expresses very dominant behavior. That's the way that these lines are going to hit. Think about it like a video game. You have your accuracy rating and then you have your power rating. You can be as accurate as you want with the thing that you want to say, but if you're saying it in a weak tone, if you're saying it like a pussy, then it's not going to work. It's not going to make sense, and it's not going to get her excited to see you again. She's not going to feel it the same way. The reason teasing works is because it creates legitimate fear of loss. And if there's nothing to lose, you don't have any value built up in the interaction through your subcommunication and through how you talk about yourself, then a tease doesn't take away anything. It's like, oh, okay, this guy that doesn't carry himself like he deserves me, like he's entitled to talk to me, he's going to walk away. Okay, I don't care. There's no reason why she should care. It doesn't make any sense. She shouldn't care, really. Now, the second line isn't really a line. It's more of a tactic or a technique that you can use, especially once you get more experience. The second line is an accurate cold read. So a cold read is some sort of assumption that you've made about her. You could guess where she's from, you could guess about her career, and you can even use these when you open a girl. So you can say, are you from New York? Are you from California? Are you from Utah? And whether you're right or wrong, honestly, it's going to create a reaction, especially if you have the right subcommunication that I just talked about, because she's going to wonder, why does he think that? Or why does he understand me so well? Why can he read me like that? Am I that easy to read? Am I that easy to understand? Or is this guy just perfect for me? And she will think that. That's how it works whenever you do an accurate cold read. But even if you get it wrong, if you play it right, you're going to be okay. One of the most attractive things a girl can feel is understood. If a girl feels understood, she's going to like you a lot more. So if you pay attention to how people react, you pick up on patterns of behavior, types of people, types of girls, you'll start to be able to make these cold reads, and it'll make you way more attractive, way higher value, because it again implies that you know what you're doing. If you have a lot of experience, and you have a lot of experience reading people, understanding people, high emotional intelligence, which is a skill you can build up over time, then you will get better at having these cold reads, and you're going to have a lot more attractive communication, and you're going to be able to show that off as a skill in your interactions. It builds a lot of value.
For me personally, a cold read I really like to do once I'm in the interaction a little bit is I'll say something like, I bet people think you're really blank. Usually I'll say shy or introverted, but you're actually really blank. Confidence. You could also say, I bet people think you're really rude, but you're actually such a sweetheart once you get to know you. And if you get this accurate, if you get this right, then this is going to have a very powerful effect because she's going to feel like you understand her way better. And honestly, you should understand her better if you're making this type of cold read, if you're doing this exactly. The third line I want you to use is a playful pull away. This is what it looks like. Well, yeah, it was nice to meet you anyway. I got to get going. And you can say this pretty much after anything she says. If she says she's from New Jersey, it's nice meeting you. I got to get going. If she says she's Colombian, well, it was nice to meet you. I dated a Colombian girl in the past, and I don't know if I want to do it again. Anything she says that you can give her a little bit of shit about, maybe you even have a funny story about that type of person or that type of girl or whatever, that's going to be really, really powerful. It's going to create a really powerful effect. If you use all of these lines with the right delivery, I promise you, you will get infinitely better results in your interactions. Women will be much more attracted to you. If you're like me when I started approaching and talking to women, then you probably have no idea how to run a proper conversation with a girl you just met on the street, and you hate the awkward silences. But the lucky thing is that most conversations look the exact same. So if you watch to the end of this video and you do a little bit of preparation, you can spark attraction in 99% of women that you talk to within the first 5 minutes. I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to do it with examples. First thing you have to understand before we get into this is that why would you open your mouth in the first 5 minutes when the conversation is valuable and there's not much attention to go around, and have something boring to say? Why would you just say something boring about your job? Why would you talk about your job like it's something that you hate? Why wouldn't you have the most high value way to show that thing? So how do you know that everything you're saying in your answers is attractive, is valuable? You're going to use something called a DHV, which is just a display of high value. And you need to be sprinkling these DHVs into your conversations all the time. Because it's not that the girl doesn't like you. It's not that you aren't a guy that girls would like. Say you frame yourself as a guy girls wouldn't like. And you're not good at framing yourself as a guy that girls would like. You don't talk about the cool parts of your life because you've never taken the time to put thought into, like, what do girls actually value in an interaction with a guy? And what do I actually talk about? Do I talk about stuff that girls care about, that girls would be attracted to? Or do I talk about stuff that girls are not attracted to, which obviously is not going to do anything to build attraction? So there are 3 types of DHVs I'm going to get into in this video, and you can use all of them to get a very, very powerful effect. But first we have to understand what high value is. So make sure you stay till the end. I'm going to give you some exact examples that you can use. This is going to be one of the most valuable videos you watch this year, hands down. So when I talk about value, what is value? What do women value? What do women look at in a guy and say that's attractive? Well, first thing is pre-selection. So anytime you can bring up stories about girls you've dated, anything you can say about female friends inviting you to stuff, girls liking you in general, that's really good. It's even a little bit of pre-selection to talk about how you kind of bully your little sister, or you're friendly with your little sister, you're close with your mom. These are all small amounts of pre-selection that basically give her permission to like you. Because if these women like you or are attracted to you, hopefully your mom's not attracted to you, but you know what I mean. If these women are giving you compliance and going along with you in your life and they're having you in their life, then on some level it gives her permission to do that as well, and there's probably a reason for it. Other things that are valuable are cool experiences or successes. A lot of you guys don't even talk about how you love your job, or you went on a cool trip to Mexico or Belize or Europe last week, or you're planning a trip to Barcelona and you took your entire family because you have been balling like that for years and you finally decided to give back to your family, right? There's a lot of cool stuff that you guys are doing. I know, because I'm having these conversations with guys inside the school community. There's a lot of cool stuff that you guys do that is very, very powerful, that's very high value. One of my clients in my one-on-one program is actually a dancer for an NBA team. He's like a break dancer professionally. Like, he gets paid for it. It's fucking badass. Another one of my clients can do a human flagpole. He's like a freak with calisthenics. He's in insane shape, and you would never know that by talking to him. It's insane. You guys do not need to be humble. Talk about your experiences. Talk about your successes. Talk about fun stories from the past, especially if they involve women that you've dated or women that you're attracted to or women that you've talked to. So now that we have a rough idea of what women find valuable or attractive, what would qualify as a DHV, we have 3 types of DHVs that you can use. So these you can literally have prepared. I have a DHV story document that I'll put in the description on this video. You can literally go look at my DHV answers, and I give some sort of answer along those lines to every single common question that is asked. So what I want you to do by watching this video is I want you to write out what are 5 common questions that get asked in conversation that I'm constantly getting asked, and let's come up with specific answers that give you high value, and you can use my answers as a template down below in the description. Another mini DHV that you can do is pattern interrupts. So she asks you what your name is, and you're obviously a white dude. You could say, oh, my name's Jamal, just to fuck with her. These pattern interrupts of giving fake answers are very powerful because they show, hey, I don't have a ton of fear of loss. I'm not too worried about this falling apart. I don't care if you like me. It's okay. I'm just having fun. I really don't care. It's a very high value trait. It's a very high value thing to do. And then the third type of DHV is a baby DHV. So here's an example. It's where you sprinkle in a small amount of value into a story or into an answer. Like if a girl says, oh, I'm a vet, you could say, oh, I dated a girl that was a vet. It was actually really good, but she ended up moving away and things didn't really work out. The fact that you mention that, the fact that you mention that you have a positive experience with a girl that's a vet, that you sprinkle it in, is very, very attractive. It's high levels of pre-selection, and you should be doing these things all the time. Now, this is going to be something you build up over time as a skill. It's a muscle, and you want to be thinking about life in general as how can I show the most value in what I say? Now, this doesn't mean you should be constantly judging, is this a good enough answer, right? But it does mean that you should not be afraid to talk about the high value and cool things that are going on in your life, because the guys that are confident and attractive that women like, those guys are not afraid of the cool stuff that they have going on in their lives, and they're proud of the cool stuff they have going on in their life. I'm proud that I have a business where I coach guys on how to talk to women and get better success and just give women better experiences. I'm happy about that, and if a girl doesn't like that, that's fine, but I'm sure as hell gonna make really strong eye contact and be proud as fuck when I say it. I'm gonna say it with my chest, what I do, because I'm proud of it. If I have an accomplishment, or I'm going on a trip to Europe, or I'm going somewhere cool, I'm going to proudly say that thing because I'm proud and excited about the life that I have. And you guys better be thinking the same thing. If you're not happy with your life, then you probably need to change it.
If you're like me in my early 20s, you probably thought dominance sounded a lot like this.
Someone has to fucking flip the burgers, dumbass.
So when you hear guys like me say that you need to be more dominant in your communication, you think you need to act like some overcompensating, insecure douchebag, which you definitely do not, okay? I promise you. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 counterintuitive ways to come off more dominant in your communication you probably wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And you're gonna wanna stick till the end because I'm gonna have a point that ties everything together that will help you so much with understanding this. And by the end of this video, you're gonna be able to have interactions that are a lot like this. I like your bangs. Yeah, have a good day.
You too.
Wait, how tall are you? You're like so little. What the fuck? Like a little piercing. God, you're fucking cute. That's crazy. So I parked kind of close. It's nice. So I'm getting like steps in. I'm gonna go meet up with him later. Yeah, you have like, yeah, it's like a version of like stripper energy.
Oh, thank
like
you.
when you're talking to a girl. That's good. Yeah, we should grab a drink. We should hang out.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. Cool. I was not expecting, when I was going to compliment the bangs, I was not expecting this kind of energy from you just now. So the first counterintuitive dominant behavior is actually talking slower. This one is really counterintuitive because when you think of someone that's very dominating of a conversation, they probably are talking really fast and really in your face and really high energy. Dominance in an interaction actually is not that. A guy that is dominant is very confident with himself. So all of his behaviors will be in line with a guy that's confident in himself, doesn't have anything to prove. He's not worried about proving himself to other people. So for example, as some bonuses, right? Taking up more space, man-spreading a bit more. That's gonna make you come off more dominant. Talking slower, like this. I will come off more dominant when I talk slower, especially with small things like, say that you're a girl right there in the camera and I'm not really paying attention and you go, hey Tim, and I go, oh, what's up? That's so much more normal than, hey Tim, yeah? What is it? What's up?
And I know that we've all been that guy that overreacts when a cute girl tries to get our attention because we're so excited, right? But the most attractive thing you can have, and the first most dominant thing you can do, is slow down in your communication. Now, the second dominant piece of communication is not just holding eye contact, because everyone will talk about that, but holding eye contact at the end of your sentence. So if I'm over here and I'm talking, I'm processing information, now that I think about it, I'm feeling really confident right now. That's going to come off so much more confident than, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling really confident right now. And I look off to the side and I think. I actually had a client that did this. Shout out to my boy Mahir. He did this for a while. He doesn't really do this anymore. And what he did was he would have these conversations and then he would get a little nervous and he'd go, and look off to the side. And it comes off very submissive, comes off very unconfident, unsure of himself. And when we fix that behavior, what we realized is when you make eye contact at the end of your sentence, kind of like I just did there, when you do that, you come off more confident and you hammer the point home a lot more. And when you combine this with talking slower, you will come off a lot more dominant. Now, the third most, counterintuitive, or honestly, this one's just the most difficult thing for guys to pull off, is talking in closer proximity. So when you talk to a girl in closer proximity, you don't want to be leaning over her. I don't want to be leaning in like this, okay? I still want to be standing straight up and down, man spreading almost, standing with my feet far apart, taking up a lot of space, but I just want to be a little closer. I still want to be kind of leaned back, straight up and down, but right here and slowed down. And this is going to create so much more of a powerful effect. And I'm not afraid to face my pelvis towards the girl, literally face your dick towards the girl. You need to be okay with that because I'm attracted to you. I'm here, I'm okay, feet far apart, spread out, slowed down. I'm talking to you right now. But I'm not going to put pressure on you. I'm not going to lean over. I'm not going to be over domineering in the interaction. I'm just going to be right here. And I'm going to be a presence that has gravity. You want to think about yourself like a planet. When you're trying to max out your dominant communication, you want to think about yourself like a planet that has gravity, and you will pull things into you. And this is going to feel really weird at first, especially when you don't have this entitlement. And this is the piece that I wanted to bring in at the end, is that you have to understand that even if you view yourself as the most beta little cuck of all time, you have to think about yourself as a guy that deserves and is entitled to being attractive and getting positive attention from women. Because if you don't think about yourself in this way, if you can't figure out a way to think about yourself like this, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to implement these behaviors because initially they're going to feel unnatural, and that's okay. A lot of this on this journey of getting better at having more attractive subcommunication is going to come down to you needing to understand that it's just behaviors. You don't have to feel a certain way. There's times where I feel shy, but I come off dominant as fuck when I talk to a girl. I come off super confident, assertive, and bold. And that happens, right? I'm not just always feeling confidence, but I just realize that the behaviors are what's going to get me the results that I actually want. And that's the most important thing.
So when I was in my teens and early 20s, I would always miss out on tons of social interaction with women that I would really like to meet and go on dates with. I remember going to the mall on a Saturday afternoon, and I'd see 5, 6 girls that I wish I would have approached, and I would have actually ended up going to bed that night feeling bad about it, feeling what if I had the balls to go talk to those girls? Because I would see guys online doing this stuff. I would see guys go up and approach, and I knew what was holding me back was fear of rejection. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to deal with rejection so that you know how you can handle it. Because honestly, rejection is something, if you want to get better at dating, if you want to improve your social skills, you're going to have to get okay at dealing with rejection. But there's 3 main strategies I'm going to demonstrate live for you guys in this video. So you're going to want to stay tuned, actually watch. I'll use these glasses right here, and I'll actually show you guys how I deal with rejection live in the moment, because I get rejected a lot too. So the first way to handle rejection, and this is ultimately the thing that I needed to work on the most, is just taking the ego hits. Because when you're relying on external validation to validate whether or not what you did was good, so whether I got rejected or whether I got a number or whether I got a date, ultimately you're just relying way too much on the outside world, and you're relying on her liking you, and you're not rewarding yourself for taking the action, which ultimately is what you need to do, because anything in life, you have to get better at taking the action first. I don't think anyone's ever gotten good at pretty much anything without taking tons of action first, and that's just how it is. So in this clip you're about to see, I'm about to get totally ignored and blown out by this girl, but I don't take it hard. I literally just go, okay, it is what it is. Let's fucking go. I'm excited. I'm proud of myself. I'm happy for taking the action because I can't control how other people are going to react to me.
Good morning. We getting? Oh, all right. No worries. It's all good. That's so funny. I was gonna fist bump her.
Now, the second way you're going to want to think of rejection is to start thinking about every rejection, kind of going along with point one, as a reference experience. Now, this is a little bit different because you want to start thinking about now in the next situation where this rejection happens. Maybe I got rejected because I was talking too quietly. Maybe I got rejected because I didn't make eye contact. Maybe I got rejected because I didn't lead enough. Maybe you're getting rejected because of these things. And when you view a rejection as a reference experience, now you know the next time you're in that exact situation with a girl, you're talking to a girl at a crosswalk, or I'm going to show you this clip of this Asian girl in just a second that I talked to, where I didn't really get rejected. I kind of ejected too early because I didn't lead. I probably could have set up a date with this girl. I'm going to show you guys the clip.
Hey, excuse me. I just want to say you look really cute today. I like the all black. Yeah. Are you traveling here or originally from Japan? Okay, cool. You like it so far, or if you want to grab a drink sometime while you're here, then we could. But it's all good. It's all good. Just enjoy your time here in Nashville, all right? Yeah. Have a good one.
Because honestly, it was a layup of an interaction, to be totally honest with you guys. And it would have gone really well. I chose not to lead and make the most of it. And that's what you guys need to do. So now I have that reference experience. So I don't walk away from that like, oh, fuck, I didn't get the number. Oh, fuck, I didn't get the date. I'm actually walking away like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I actually have a reference experience. Next time I see an opportunity to lead like that, I'm going to lead. And I'm just going to make that happen. Now, the third way to handle rejection is to start using rejection as an opportunity to extend the interaction, so you can use that as a way or a tool to detach from the outcome. You actually want to completely detach from whether or not you get the number. So if you get rejected, just insert some curiosity, inject some curiosity in the interaction. So you just say, oh, cool, are you from here? I'm just curious. Okay, awesome. Hey, what are you up to today? What's on the docket today? Awesome, cool. Well, have a good day. And just extend it a little bit so you can remind yourself, I'm talking to this girl because I want to get better at this skill, because I want to be better at just talking to people in general. I'm not talking to get something, all right? So I'm going to show you guys a quick clip of me talking to these two girls walking down the street. I noticed she's married, actually. So it's not technically a rejection, but I saw she's married. I don't really want to push it. And I just use that as like an opportunity to extend the interaction and talk. And it ends up being a really funny interaction. So I got a lot of it on film, and you guys can watch it now.
Okay, where are you guys talking about? Oh, all right.
Nothing
Okay.
useful. No useful.
Yeah, it's all good. I've been to New Orleans once, and it was okay. Yeah, I could see that. I feel like my experience was tainted. Like I was there for like a friend's like bachelorette thing. Nah, he has a cult. That's what it is. I will do that. I will do that. What's your name, by the way? Tim. Nice to meet you. You don't come off like a lawyer at all.
Really?
Well, I was gonna say you're really fun. You should come to a game night that me and my buddies do. But honestly, you might be holding things up. You might be like, listen, no, the rules.
I'm not trying to be a nigger in a rule book.
All right, guys, so that is how I handle rejection. Those are the 3 tools that you can use, and you just saw me demonstrate them live.
There are 5 core skills that every guy needs if he wants to attract women in 2025. And I'm going to break down all 5 of these skills in this video. You're going to want to make sure you stay till the end, because all of these skills, they build on top of each other. And when you put them all together, they achieve a very powerful effect to get reactions like this.
Oh, and like you just hang in Nashville and like have the time. So that's what I'm doing.
How long are you here?
Till Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, we got time.
We got
Just to
time.
blossom into just a crazy romance and give you a reason to come back.
Okay.
I think.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah. I'll just give you my number.
So the first skill you need to have in order to attract women in 2025 is to be good at small talk. You cannot have boring small talk, and small talk is actually a skill that you can learn as any guy. You don't need to be particularly charismatic or interesting to be good at small talk. There are 2 key rules that I follow in order to be good at small talk. So we're going to talk about this over here. So the first key to good small talk is 1, plan out what you're going to ask. Just plan out the questions. Have 3 questions in mind that you know you're going to ask. I always ask where she's from. I always ask about work. And I always ask what she does for fun. The reason I ask these is because I want her to ask the same questions back. That's it. I want her to ask where I'm from. So I can say, oh, I'm back from Missouri. And I don't say I'm from Missouri and it's boring there and it sucks. I'm from Missouri. I grew up my whole life there. And my business actually got to a point where I could move wherever I wanted. And so I decided I wanted to move here. That was absolutely massive because now I'm talking about my business. Then I might ask, what do you do for work? At some point in the conversation, she's probably going to ask me the same question as well. So I'll just say, oh, I'm a dating coach for men. And then she's going to ask another question about that. Oh yeah, I help guys with confidence and social skills. It's really fucking fulfilling, honestly. I love my job. And so I get to talk like I'm a guy that's ambitious. I have goals. I run my own business. I get to talk about these things. And you can do the exact same thing if you get good at framing these things. So that is step number 1. Just have questions planned out. 3 questions. And she's going to ask you those questions as well. And just have answers that frame you positively. They don't even need to be incredibly charismatic and badass and crazy stories. Just make sure you're not framing them negatively. Like, I live with my parents while I'm in law school. That sucks. You should say, oh, I'm in law school right now. I'm going to be a lawyer. Even if you just say that, that is so much better already. Step number 2 to getting good at small talk is to get really good at personal input. And the reason that this is so important is because when you're good at personal input, it shows a lot of confidence. A guy that is confident is probably very open and proud about all parts of his life. So he's open and quick to tell stories from his past. Whenever I talk about this tattoo, I always talk about how I was a massive nerd, a massive fucking loser, and how I grew out of that through just being ambitious. And I actually learned a lot of really valuable life lessons through playing video games. And so I'll tell her about, oh man, I was like so addicted to World of Warcraft, but I loved it at the time. It was so good. It taught me so many lessons. And now I've like carried that forward into my business. Or, oh yeah, I was always playing video games. I was like that kid that would never do his homework and I would always play video games, but I would still get like A's and B's because I was really smart in school. And so it was pretty easy for me to kind of skate by and like get used to that. And when I'm quick to have personal input, and this might take some practice, but I'll also be able to tell stories about anything that comes up. So I actually approached a girl yesterday at the mall and she has very similar tattoos to my friend Lauren. And so I said, oh yeah, your tattoos, they really remind me of my friend Lauren. They're like very, very similar, like the patchwork type of style. I really like it. And just by having an open thought process and being able to say the first thoughts that come out of my head, I'm now saying that like, hey, I'm not weird around women. I have female friends. I'm not this fucking incel that only approaches girls to hit on them. I actually, I have a female friend and I'm not weird around women. That's the implication there. And that's very, very powerful. And I did it almost on accident because I'm very quick to be open about my life. So the second skill that you need to get better with women in 2025 is alpha body language. Now, alpha body language is not being this fucking giga chad that's like squaring up all the time and you look sick. Alpha body language is actually a couple different factors, and I'm going to break it down right now. So, number 1, relaxed. Okay, you need to be relaxed. So if you're not relaxed, you can't be alpha. You can't be really in control, because really like an alpha male is just a guy that is in control and dominant in the interaction. And dominance actually being calm and relaxed and not being affected by external stimulus too much, just kind of being focused on what am I doing right now? I'm fully present. That is a very attractive alpha behavior and it's very critical. So the first thing you need to do is relax in your interactions. One really good tip that I've gotten for this is let's make a little man here. The distance between your earlobe and your shoulder, just maximize that. So I'll do it actually on camera now. So just maximize it where your shoulders are completely dropped and your head is straight up and down. Stop hunching. And this actually literally makes me feel more confident when I do it. There's like a physiological response. You can try it while you're watching the video. But this will really help you. And also trying to take your hands out away from your body and speak more openly and be more relaxed. One massive tip, honestly, that I got when I was like 20 was to just kind of manspread. You know how people always complain about manspreading? You actually want to manspread. You kind of want to spread out and just relax. I literally will do that when I'm on the phone. I'll like pretend like this piece of paper is my phone. I'll just be like chilling when I'm on the phone with a girl and I'll just be like this, and I'll actively try to like sit back, relax, control my breath. So relax is the first piece of really alpha body language. The second piece is slow. Slow down your movements and also slow down your rate of speech. It's like a little bonus for you. Slow down your rate of speech and just let the words come out at variable paces. Don't be afraid to stop and pause and give her time to catch up to what you're saying. You don't have to be talking a million miles an hour. She's not going to run away. And there's a reason that slow, relaxed body language works really well, where you have your feet planted, you're not moving. I'll just say FP, feet planted, not moving. And it's because there is a very unattractive, gross trait that girls hate. And that gross trait is fear of loss. If you have high fear of loss, if you show a lot of fear of loss, it's very unattractive because it shows, man, maybe I shouldn't be with this guy because I'm looking for cues that I should or shouldn't like him. And if he doesn't think that I should like him, if he thinks I'm going to walk away at any second, maybe he has something else planned. Maybe he's not actually as interesting or as cool or as dateable as I thought he was. And so when you plant your feet, you talk slow, you trust, and this is really the key thing, is trust she will stay. When you trust she will stay, I promise you, 90% of the time she actually will. It's almost like a magnetic field. Like I'll actually approach a girl and she'll be unsure about me and she'll be kind of walking away, right? She'll take one step this way. I'm standing still. She'll take one step this way, then look back. Then she'll take another step really slowly, then look back. And then she'll take one more step kind of slowly again, even slower. She'll look back and then she'll loop back around and talk to me. And that's when I'm stopping a girl on the street. This happens a lot. And the only reason she does this loop is because I have relaxed, slow, and feet planted body language. It helps with this if you're making strong eye contact and you're relaxed and you have a smile on your face, but we'll get to that in a second. The third skill you need to get good with women in 2025 is a lighthearted personality. This kind of goes back to the alpha body language because a lot of guys, when they try to be more alpha and dominant, they take themselves way too fucking seriously. And the least alpha thing, if I had to make a list of non-alpha behaviors, would be fragility, which if you take yourself too seriously, you're going to overreact. You're going to be very fragile. You're not going to be able to move very much. If the girl shit tests you, you are fucked up. You're really fucked up because you're fragile. And so when you have this lighthearted personality where you don't take things too seriously, it's not that big of a deal. You're not looking for signs of, is this girl disrespecting me? And you're only really setting clear boundaries around actual disrespect. Or maybe you do set boundaries, but it's in a very lighthearted way. So say I'm talking and the girl cuts me off. I could smile and say, hey, don't cut me off. Wait, who do you think you are? That is playful. That is actually alpha. That is non-reactive. That is a lighthearted personality at work. But if I say, hey, I won't let women talk to me like that. I don't let people do that to me. That shows fragility. It shows low self-esteem. It shows low confidence. And when you feel like this girl that you never met can actually disrespect you, like you actually feel disrespected that much, when it's a girl you've never met before in your life, and you take her opinion so seriously, that is very unattractive, and it shows a lot of fragility. That's why the red pill for really nice guys can be pretty good at first, because it helps you with setting boundaries, not being a pushover, not being a pussy, going for what you want. But eventually, if you're already kind of a dick or you're already kind of alpha, then the red pill's pretty bad, because it turns you into a fragile loser like Myron Gaines, right? Myron Gaines, fresh and fit, not good. A better example of like an alpha personality is probably a guy like Michael Sartain, who's another guy in the space. He's very relaxed, very lighthearted. I think Alex from Playing with Fire is also kind of in that same realm of he's just goofy. He has a goofy personality. He doesn't take things too seriously, but he also isn't going to let people walk all over him. He's going to go into confrontation. There's a certain level of flexibility that you need if you want an actual alpha personality. The fourth skill you need in 2025 to get better with women is humor. Now, you don't need to be the funniest guy on the planet, but you do need to make fun of her a little bit. You need to almost have a humorous personality. You need to have some sort of sense of humor. If you have no sense of humor, which I've definitely fallen into in the past because I'm, going so hard into self-improvement and taking myself so fucking seriously, I would just watch a lot of comedy and try to make jokes. The problem I see with a lot of guys that try to get funnier is they're afraid to bomb. So you can't be afraid to bomb, all right? Not afraid to bomb. It's okay. If your joke doesn't land, it's okay. Sometimes you can tell a joke and it isn't funny and people don't think it's funny. And then if you can laugh at the fact that that was the shittiest joke I've ever told my entire life, I promise I'm funnier than that, it is so much better. It goes back to just not being a fragile, fake alpha type of douchebag, basically. Just have a really strong level. If you can display a really strong level of self-esteem, self-confidence, that's a very, very powerful thing. There are actually a few formats you can use to become funnier, and I actually work with my clients directly, if you want to apply down below, on how to become funnier, how to unlock more of their personality. But one way that I'll just give away right now is to take things that she says really literally. So if she says like an idiom, I don't know if this is an idiom or not, but if she says, let's not beat around the bush, you could literally say, cool, I actually want to beat the fuck out of the bush. I want to beat the fuck out of that bush. It's pissing me off. That could be a, slightly funny thing. It's not the funniest thing in the world, but you can actually bring in that kind of sense of humor into your interactions. And that really helps with lightening the mood, showing you're not taking it too seriously. And going back to this fear of loss stuff, it basically shows no fear of loss. If you're okay with bombing or making a dumb joke and then laughing at it, it shows no fear of loss. It's very attractive. Now, the fifth and final skill you need to get good with women in 2025 is unfiltered communication. And there's an exercise I want to give you for this. But what I want you to think about with unfiltered communication is this is your brain and this is your mouth. This is where the words come out. Here's your eyes. And for some reason, you're kind of angry. So in your mind, you have these different thoughts, okay? All of these are potential things that you could say. Now, the problem is that some of these are more risky than others. These ones way at the back, these are locked in jail, okay? These never come out. These are the edgy jokes, the risky jokes, making a joke. An example here would be if a girl said, oh, I don't want you to think I'm fat, and then you go, oh, well, I don't want to say anything. That would be funny, and that'd be very risky to say. It'd be a very polarizing thing to say. You actually probably should say that because I think that would be a funny thing to say. But these are locked in jail. If you're a nice guy, these are never coming out. Then we have the slightly less funny things to say. These are more like personal input, stories from your past that you kind of have locked away, but they're a little risky. You might be judged for some of these things. So you have these filters, they're locked in jail, okay? And the only thing left that's not in jail is these little shitty things that are like interview questions. How are you? What are you up to? Playing it safe. Oh, I'm good. How are you? Super bad, right? We don't want to use these things. So what we need to do is unlock from jail these different thoughts. And there's an exercise that you can do to unlock these thoughts. What I'm going to want you to do, guys, is set a timer for 5 minutes. And we're going to talk forever. And you're going to try to get super, super retarded with it, okay? I'll do a quick example for 30 seconds. All right, I'm looking at the timer on my camera right now. What I want you to do is set the timer for 5 minutes and just talk. And you want to try to touch on as many topics as possible and almost talk in a completely illogical way for the whole 5 minutes. So I'm going to start in about 3 seconds. So one thing about me that's funny is that I take ashwagandha for to make my pee hard or something. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do, but it does help with testosterone, which is something that I was really insecure about. And speaking of guys that are really insecure, I mentioned Myron Gaines earlier, and Myron Gaines is definitely an insecure little child because I saw a video, because actually there was a video that I did a few weeks ago on his game inside of Cheyenne Reynolds or something. She has a show, and it was not good. He was super try hard and very reactive. It was super cringe. I'm actually going on a panel with a guy that doesn't like him, Alex from Playing with Fire tonight, with Michael Sartain, Austin Summers, and Marcus Wolf. I'm super excited for that. It should be super cool. And I'm being kind of lame, man. I want to talk about penguins or rhinos or hippopotamus or something. That Christmas song is actually pretty good. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. That's a good one. So I'm in a super logical head state. I've been working on this video and blah, 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 all this bullshit, right? I've been showing you guys all this stuff, breaking down all this stuff. But immediately at the end, I started realizing I'm being kind of boring, and I started bringing in more personality. And that is what you can do if you actually push yourself to unlock these parts of your personality. So if you do anything this year, okay, if you want to get better with women, get better at small talk, get better at your body language, get better at having a lighthearted personality, taking yourself less seriously, get funnier, and unfilter yourself more. A lot of these are very tied together. If you want to work with me directly, and I'll show you exactly how to do all of these things inside my program through a custom 8-week program that we'll walk through together and work very closely together on, then you can apply down in the description. If not, it's all good. Stick with the content, the free shit. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
You guys want to hear something absolutely insane? When I was 22, I went from being a guy that couldn't talk to a girl without shaking to going to the bar 10 nights over the course of a month and pulling a new girl home 7 out of those 10 nights. And I didn't do that because I had some crazy sick game. I did that because I was able to make a very sexual vibe super quickly with girls that I had just met. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to create a sexual vibe with girls that you just met without being a creep, because that's what most guys are worried about, and that's what I was worried about, honestly. So the first thing you need to do is be able to talk about your attraction towards other girls around the girl that you like. So say you have a crush on a girl. What I want you to start with, instead of trying to make things sexual between you and her, because that's really direct, really forward, and you're probably not going to do it very well. I just want you to start talking about other girls at the gym that you find attractive. Just mention it like it's not a big deal. Like, oh, do you know that blonde girl that comes in here sometimes? Like, she's so hot. She's like so attractive. I like need to talk to her. This is something I did really early on when I was starting to learn about pickup and game and how to talk to women. And it gets you to the point where you're really just comfortable talking about being attracted to women. Because guess what? A guy that can't say that and admit that he's attracted to women, he's not really going to get sexual with those women. Those women need to understand and know, hey, this guy finds me attractive. Hey, this guy has a sex drive. Hey, this guy has a penis. And, believe it or not, that's actually really important to have a penis and for her to actually know that you do. So this first step is really huge because it's the first step into acknowledging your sexuality and really what all of this video is going to come down to. And you're going to want to stay till the end because I'm going to give you a mindset that's going to tie everything together super nicely so you can get a really powerful result from it. But what you need to realize is that you need to be okay with your sexuality as a man. It is not creepy to be attracted to women. What is creepy is directing sexual energy towards women that aren't expecting it or don't know it, or you're directing sexual energy inside without showing any intent. That's actually what's really creepy. A lot of guys go up to a girl, they want to have sex with the girl, and they don't show any intent. And it's really off-putting to the girl because they can tell that you want something. They just don't know what is going on. They're like, why is this guy talking to me? And you need to own why you're talking to the girl. And this is going to be the first step. So step number 1, just to repeat it again, with female friends and girls that you meet, I want you to talk about girls that you are attracted to, celebrity crushes, other girls at your school or gym or whatever. It can be anything, but talk about girls that you find attractive and don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be salivating like, oh my God, this girl's so hot. Just, oh yeah, she's really fucking hot. And then move on from it. It's really not a big deal. Now, the second thing I want you to do is when you get into interactions with women, I want you to practice nonchalantly calling her attractive. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. I'll give you some exact examples. One, if she's telling you a story about a guy that hit on her or any sort of story where something happens to her that's very like something that would happen to a hot girl, what I'll usually say is something like, oh my God, you're hot and that happened to you? I can't believe it. That's crazy. And I have kind of like a sarcastic reaction to it because it's like, obviously you're hot. I kind of talk about it in a matter-of-fact way. Or maybe she's talking about how dating sucks in your city. It's like, what do you mean? You're hot. Or if she's talking about how dating in your city sucks, which is like a really common topic for girls to bring up now, you can probably say something along the lines like, what do you mean? You're hot. You should have no problem getting dates. And then she can go into why guys suck and all this stuff, and you can get into a deeper conversation there. But the most important thing is to be able to acknowledge that she is attractive. Because what a lot of guys do is they think about showing attraction as this thing that has all of this meaning behind it. Like if I show attraction, she's going to know I'm attracted to her, she's going to know I want to go on a date. When really, if I just acknowledge she's attractive, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have to mean, she can make assumptions if she wants. That's fine, but I just find you attractive. I think you're hot, like physically. That's it. Like I'm not like attracted to you necessarily for your personality or anything. I just think you're attractive. And I can be friends with girls I'm attracted to. I don't have to show tons of intent. I don't have to bend over backwards. I can not put you on a pedestal. And that is really, really powerful when you don't put girls on a pedestal for being attractive and you just acknowledge, yeah, you're very physically attractive, and then just move on from it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have power over you. That's a very, very powerful effect. And you're going to notice your vibe and chemistry with girls that you meet is going to start to level up a lot more. Girls are going to start viewing you as a guy that is actually an option now. Because when you can acknowledge that you think she's hot, but you also think other girls are attractive, and you have a sex drive, and you want to talk to girls, and you are interested in getting to know and going on dates with other girls, that's really powerful, because now she knows, oh, this guy's uninhibited. He doesn't care. It's not a big deal. I could probably be more myself around this guy because he's not judging himself for finding women attractive. He doesn't have an ego about does he get me or not. He's not trying too hard to get me right now. He just is acknowledging like I'm attracted, but that's it. When you can do that, it's very, very powerful because the girl doesn't feel the pressure of, oh, this guy wants something from me. That's very, very important. And that's how you're going to open up more sexual vibes with the girl and just have a more sexual vibe exuding from you throughout your day. Now, I can make a video on specifically how to sexualize and escalate conversations verbally because we can go a lot deeper on this topic where you actually make it sexual between you and her. But the next step that I want you to do to create more of a sexual vibe with these women that you're meeting is just talk about sex in general, whether it's making sexual jokes, talking about a sexual experience you had in the past, talking about other people having sex, whatever that is, just like, oh yeah, that guy hooked up with her. I thought it was like really funny when I found out because they totally, you can tell they like ignore each other. Like one thing you could do is say you're at the gym. It's like, hey, I noticed that these two people, like they always ignore each other. I feel like they definitely hooked up before. I feel like they were definitely fucking. And then now they broke up. Now they're not. And you can create like a little scenario for them. And now you're talking about sex. But the most important thing here is don't direct sexual topics towards her yet. You want to get to the point where you guys are open talking about sex, and maybe you even make some jokes that imply sexual chemistry between you two, but you don't actually explicitly say it yet. That is very important. You can do these things very quickly. When you're a guy that's very comfortable with his own sexuality and talking about sex, you can make sexual jokes 4 or 5 minutes into an interaction that doesn't necessarily point sexual energy towards her. That's the most creepy part. When you talk about sex, when you escalate into these more sexual topics, I just want you to keep it about sex. Like two people observing and talking about this thing rather than you talking about this thing with her between you two. You don't want to put that much pressure on it, especially if you're not comfortable with your sexuality, you don't have a lot of sexual experience with women. Making things sexual between you and her, that's going to feel very forced rather than just talking about sex in general, getting her to warm up to the idea of talking about sex with you. Then you turn the knob up a little bit more later, and then you can escalate later into talking about sex between you and the girl. So just to reiterate those 3 steps to become more comfortable with your sexuality when talking to women. 1, talk about being attracted to other women in front of her. Then 2, you want to talk about being attracted to her without putting any meaning behind it, and you kind of want to mention this stuff in passing. And then 3rd, you want to get comfortable talking about sex or making sexual jokes that don't necessarily involve you and her directly, but just more sex in general in front of the girl. If you do those 3 things and you get really comfortable with that, you're going to get to the point where your conversations, honestly, will get very, very sexual. You'll start noticing girls will give you more eyes. They'll start looking at you different, and it's a very, very powerful feeling. And then you can just practice escalating more. If you want to know how you can escalate more consistently once you get to this point where you have a solid mindset, a solid foundation around your sex life and your sexual energy, and you kind of have a clear understanding of what you're attracted to, how to express yourself sexually without being creepy.
If you're getting stuck in interview mode, a lot of times you're probably going to end up getting ghosted, getting flaked on, girls not actually following up. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get out of interview mode using 3 main tactics that I have used to get to the point where I can have fun and interesting conversations like this.
Hey, excuse me. Super random. I'm here shopping with my buddy. You're like so cute. What's your name? Tim?
Ted?
Tim.
Nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
Ted, that'd be red flag. Okay?
Yeah.
Immediate serial killer first name. Not cool.
It's okay, Tim's good.
Tim's good.
I'm going to give you 3 tips in this video, and you're going to want to stay till the end because at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a strategy that's going to help tie all of these together and really make all of these work to
really achieve a very powerful effect. So the first thing you have to do to get out of interview mode, and this is assuming you're approaching enough to where you're having good conversations with women and just with people in general, is have more personal input. So there's usually 2 to 3 questions that get asked in every single conversation. Maybe it's where are you from? What's your ethnicity? What do you do for work? What do you do for fun? A lot of these questions get brought up every single time when you run an interaction, and you're probably asking a lot of these questions when you blank out and it's just the first thing that comes to your mind. And so what I want you to do is actually take time right now and write down more interesting answers to these questions. So an example would be if someone asked me what I did for work, I could say I'm a dating coach or I help guys with confidence and social skills, but that's kind of a boring answer, even though it's an interesting thing that I do. It'd be a lot better for me to say something like, well, it's actually funny. I was gonna study elementary education and I got through like a semester of that and I really liked it because I like talking to kids, hanging out with kids. I think they're really funny. But I also realized after a little bit that I'm a lot more ambitious than that and I wanted to make more money. So I ended up starting my own business, 4 or 5 years after I dropped out of college. And now I help guys and coach them online with building confidence and building social skills. And now I can do things like, approach pretty girls at the mall. So now I'm showing some intent. I'm making it more interesting and engaging. I didn't really even ask a question, but I gave her a lot that she can hold on to. She can talk about social skills. She can talk about confidence. She can talk about the fact that I came up to her. She can talk about the fact that I like kids. She can talk about college, dropping out of school. There's a lot of stuff that she can talk about in this conversation now, and I'm giving her enough to work with. A lot of guys don't even understand that it's not only on her to give you stuff to work with. You need to give her stuff to work with too. Girls are also people, and they're trying to run interactions. They're trying to have a good time. They're trying to have good, positive interactions with you. And it's very, very hard when you don't give her anything else. Guys will complain a lot about girls giving one-word responses when they're giving one-word responses themselves and just asking boring questions. The next thing you can do to avoid getting stuck in interview mode is injecting more teasing and personality and fun into the interaction by giving the girl some challenges. One of my recent videos, I actually break down how you can tease and flirt more effectively. I even give you 3 lines that you can use and steal, but I'm just gonna talk about it briefly in this video as well because I think it really is important. The reason that you wanna tease is because it shows the girl, hey, I'm not putting too much pressure on this interaction. It's not a big deal. When you don't tease and you don't make fun of the girl, it kind of shows that you're taking yourself too seriously and you're taking her too seriously. It puts a lot of pressure on her to be perfect, and she can't be her goofy self. She can't be herself and just relax around you. And I think that's a really, really big thing. So you have to be able to pull away and tease. So one example of a good tease that you can pretty much say after everything she says is you could say, oh, see, this is why it won't work between us. So maybe she's a nurse. See, this is why it won't work between us. Or she could say, I'm from Kentucky. Oh, see, this is why it won't work between us. Anything that she says can be a reason why it won't work. And then it's just up to you to come up with something. Maybe I dated a girl from there in the past, or I've just heard that girls from Kentucky, they're crazy. I've just heard that nurses are crazy. I've heard XYZ is just a lot to deal with. I don't know if I can do that right now. When you tease her, you are coming from a high value place. You're coming from a place of, hey, I'm just having fun in this interaction. I'm not putting too much pressure on this interaction. And also, I'm not really scared if I offend you because I'm not only here to hit on you. I'm here to have fun and engage with you in a fun and interesting way that's enjoyable to me as well. I'm not just concerned about if you like me or not, which is very attractive. It takes a lot of the pressure off of her. The last thing I really like to do to avoid interview mode is to make assumptions or statements instead of asking questions. And when you make assumptions, you don't have to do it in this really cocky way where it's like, oh, you're one of those girls. Because a lot of guys, when they make assumptions, they kind of talk down on the girl or they generalize her too much. One thing I really like to do is just make statements. So, oh, you're a nurse, aren't you? Or, oh, you give off this type of vibe. Like you give off elementary school vibe. And if you're worried you're going to offend the girl, one thing I like to do before is just say something like, this is such a random, totally out of nowhere guess, but I feel like you have such a blank vibe to you. And that way you have a lot of plausible deniability. If you're totally wrong, she's like, oh no, that's not me at all. Why'd you think that? I don't know. It was just something about your eyes or something about the way that you smiled or laughed. I just got this type of vibe off of you. And then if you're right, she's like, oh wow, I can't believe you actually got that right. And it's so much more interesting than just asking her what she does for work. You know, I could ask a girl what she does for work, but it's a lot more interesting if I say, you know, you come off like you would be the best fourth grade teacher ever. And you can even inject some intent where you could say, like, if I was in fourth grade, I would definitely have a crush on you for sure, but you would also be one of my best teachers. So those are 3 tactics that you can use to avoid interview mode, but it's very important that you understand this final piece that's going to tie everything together. The most important thing when it comes to getting out of interview mode is loosening up and not being so tight in your interactions. A lot of you guys just have a really bad vibe when you go into the interaction because you're not socializing enough. So if you're not hitting your 20 to 30 minutes of social interaction every single day, then you need to be doing that. That's actually something, one of the first things when someone joins the coaching community for $50 a month down in the description, I do a one-on-one with everyone that joins and I make sure they have a 20 to 30 minute social interaction action plan for their week where they structure their week so they always get 30 minutes of social interaction in every single day to put them in a higher vibe state so they can more freely and authentically express themselves. That is the most important thing. Then those guys, they can come to the group coaching calls that I run 5 per week, and you can ask questions about the interactions that you're getting into. But if you're not getting into enough interactions where you're loosening up and you're noticing like this tightness, if you have social anxiety, you know what I'm talking about, this tightness in your chest where you are nervous about what people think, you're overthinking a lot, you have a lot of anxiety. If that's not starting to get reduced and go down, you need to just take more action so you can practice loosening up and relaxing in your interactions. So if you want to join the coaching community, there's like 200 guys almost in there at this point. You can join with the link in the description for $50 a month. You get access to my 6-phase attraction system, 5 group coaching calls a week. This is seriously like a coaching program that other coaches are charging $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 for, and it's insane the amount of value you get inside. If you're more of a one-on-one, high-touch, custom help type of guy, you can also apply for one-on-one coaching down in the description. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from me.
In the last 30 days, I approached 50 different women using 2 wildly different strategies for approaching them. First, I used a very common strategy of being very nice, respectful, and sweet, and very complimentary to the girl. And second, I used a very bold, assertive, but still very direct strategy, unapologetic, raw, and really not giving a fuck. And I came away with a few key lessons that I think you're going to want in this video. If you're a guy that's too nice, you get stuck in your head, you hesitate, you're afraid to go up to women, and especially if you get friend zoned and women don't take you seriously, this video is going to very much help you take your nice guy approaches that aren't going to get results. I'll talk about the results I got with this approach in a second and take them into a more bold direction. I'm going to give you the solution for how to have a more bold and confident approach when you go and talk to women. So first, what's the difference between the nice complimentary approach and the sweet guy approach and the bold and assertive approach? A lot of it comes down to how I carried myself and what I chose to talk about in the interaction. So with the nice guy approach, what I would do is I would go up to a girl. I would say, hey, excuse me, I thought you were really cute and I wanted to meet you. But my voice was kind of soft. I sounded like I was walking on eggshells, and I really just sounded like I was scared to be there. And I'll actually show you a couple clips right now of what that actually looked like.
Hey, excuse me. I just thought you were very cute. What's your name? Excuse me. I thought you were really cute. I was about to leave, so I wanted to introduce myself.
Hi, I do have a boyfriend.
Okay, cool. So I've been walking around getting my steps in, and I just thought you were really cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What's your name? Sorry, not to like bother you. I just thought you were very cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What's your name?
I do have a boyfriend.
Fuck. All right. Brutal, but all good.
It was so nice meeting you, though.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Now with the bold and more direct approach, I focused more on speaking louder, making sure she could hear me, and opening up from far enough away so that she knew I was talking to her. She had time to break out of autopilot, and I had a more commanding presence in the interaction. I also was standing in closer proximity. I held better eye contact. I was just in general giving less of a fuck. I made sure I never apologized. I made sure I was very assertive and almost cocky. I had kind of a cocky entitlement mindset going into this, and you can actually see a big difference. You guys just watched the nice guy approach. Here's an example of a couple approaches that went better when I used the assertive approach.
So I'm waiting for my coffee. I thought I would come over and hail on you really quick, and we'll see where it goes. Okay. You know, not sure yet, but what's your name?
Haley.
Hi. I thought you looked very cute and peaceful. I liked the tattoos.
You.
Yeah. What's your name? Hey, excuse me. We made eye contact for like 3 seconds, and I'm like, I gotta come back. Good. You're fucking exactly my type, so that's good.
I was just telling her you're my type.
Fucking perfect. Yeah, tall white guy. Excuse me. Super random. I like totally chased you down, so that's my bad. I thought you were really cute. And I passed you. I like pussied out. And I was like, no, fuck, I gotta go back.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, what's your name?
So what are the actual results? I had 25 approaches where I was this nice guy, and I had 25 approaches where I was this bold, assertive, borderline asshole when I approached. Kind of asshole mindset. I wasn't saying anything like offend girls, but I was much more, I don't give a fuck if you want to talk to me or not. I'm going to attempt to talk to you. I'm entitled to try and talk to you. That's kind of the mindset that I would go into these approaches with. What I noticed in general was that most of my interactions were overwhelmingly positive. I got overwhelmingly positive reactions because women like to be approached and they like getting compliments. That is just what it is. And if you're a guy that is afraid to approach, then the first thing to understand is like women actually want to be approached. They just don't want to be approached in a super creepy and desperate way. But if you go up with genuinely good intentions and you're just trying to make her day, if you're actually trying to do that, which is what I was doing with both of these approaches, it actually is kind of fun. You're going to get a lot of good reactions. What I did notice though is even though I got positive reactions when I was approaching girls that in this like nice way, I got a lot of positive reactions, but I got a lot of boyfriend objections. I got a lot of, oh, thank you, but I'm actually seeing someone. Or I got a lot of, her not being interested. And I also actually, the times where I would get ignored and blown out were when I was being nice. When you come up and you're very nice and you're walking on eggshells and you're afraid to offend the girl, you're afraid that you're stepping out of line by talking to her, what you're saying is, I'm not confident in my approach. And so because she's in her comfort zone, she's in her comfort bubble, she's happy with just walking about her day and I'm fine, I don't want to talk to anybody. If you don't break her out of that by having a more bold and assertive approach, she is going to more than likely stay in that comfort zone and not want to talk to you. So probably half my approaches, I would get totally fucking blown out, kind of like this.
You're just very cute. You're very my type.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Oh, okay, are you leaving? Alright, that's fine. Bye. Excuse me. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
What's your name? No, brutal. Hey, excuse me. You are very pretty.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. Fuck. Hey, excuse me. Just really quick. Okay. All good.
And then the other approaches, I would get a lot of boyfriend objections, but I never really got any numbers. And if I did get a number, the girl didn't really text me back. She didn't really text me whenever I texted her my name. Like it wasn't, nothing really came of it, right? Because it was very superficial. It was nice and it was friendly and it was sweet that I did that. And maybe it took some confidence, but it didn't really come off very high value. Now with the more bold approach, I still got a lot of overwhelmingly good reactions. But what happened was women, I could tell, took me more seriously. And there are 3 steps to making your nice guy interactions more bold. And I'll get into very specific things that I do in just a second on how to do that. But it was very clear that by having this very direct but assertive and bold and I don't give a fuck attitude, just focusing on being the most obnoxiously unfiltered version of myself, that women had a lot of respect for me. Even the boyfriend objections came off differently. They came off disappointed. They came off like, oh man, like I kind of wish I could go on a date with this guy, but I have a boyfriend. Not, oh, I have a boyfriend, so get the fuck away from me. And if you are a guy that's a nice guy and you're used to women not taking you seriously, you don't even know what this feels like for women to actually see you as an option. And when I would get phone numbers, I actually had girls texting me back. I had girls thanking me for being so bold and assertive. There was actually a girl, I'll show in a second. I passed her and I pussied out. And then I like went back and I approached her. I was like, hey, I totally had to chase you down because I pussied out for a second and now I'm here. And you can see the clip right now.
Excuse me. Super random. I like totally chased you down, so that's my bad. I thought you were really cute. And I passed you. I like pussied out. And I was like, no, fuck, I gotta go back.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, what's your name?
And when you have this bold, authentic, I don't give a fuck how you perceive me, I'm just going for what I want type of attitude, women take you seriously. They thank you for pursuing them and going up to talk to them. They thank you for going for what you want because that is very attractive and it commands respect. And this is a big thing that I think a lot of guys don't realize. You're not commanding respect with how you approach. You're being nice. You're being a sweet guy. You're making them feel good about themselves. But it's not coming from a place of, I'm a fucking man and I'm going for what I want. And at the end of the day, you have to be a little bit more savage. So what are the 3 things that you can do to take your kind of nice guy approaches and turn them into something that is more assertive and bold and dominant? 1, open loud and open early. Okay. What I mean by that is when she's 15 feet away and you're walking the same, opposite directions on the sidewalk, open from there. Hey, excuse me. Loud. Talk as if you're talking 20 feet past her. If it comes off like you're yelling, maybe it will. But you need to break her out of autopilot. You need to have a very wide open body language. Open loud, open early. If you wait until you're right up next to her, she's going to think you have something to sell her. She's going to think you have an agenda. She's going to think that you're not friendly, even though you actually are. She's going to think you have bad intentions because you're hiding it. And yeah, if other people are around, the mindset really is, I want these people to fucking know I'm hitting on this girl because I'm that fucking confident. So that's step 1. Open early, open loudly. Here's a couple examples so you actually know what it looks like in action.
Hey, excuse me. I saw you over here looking very peaceful reading. I thought you were very cute. Hi. Super random. I just saw your whole outfit and vibe, and I thought it was very cool.
Thank you so much.
So I figured I would come up and say hi.
Hi.
Step number 2 to having a more bold interaction is to state very strong intent at the start and then drop it. Okay? You don't need to harp on about the fact that she's really pretty and oh my God, you're so hot, you're super sexy, right? That's too much. But a lot of guys, they'll be like, hey, excuse me, I thought you were pretty and I wanted to say hi to you. No. You want to go up to her and say, hey, I thought you were really fucking cute. I thought you looked fucking amazing. I wanted to meet you. And then you move on and you talk to her like a normal person. You talk to her like a normal person. You run a normal interaction. I actually have a whole video on how to run interactions. It's called How to Be More Interesting. It's on my channel right now. You can watch that video and you can learn how to have a normal interaction with a woman. But you need to open, if you're scared to do this, you need to open with this very direct approach. It's so much better to tackle the fear of being direct and being very upfront. Like, hey, I thought you looked really fucking good. I thought you looked amazing. I thought you looked very fucking cute. And curse on the open. That actually helps. It's kind of hard to curse on an open if you sound like a pussy, right? Like, hey, I thought you looked really fucking cute. Like, it just comes off weird, right? So you're actually a lot more likely to sound very bold and assertive when you say, hey, I thought you looked really fucking cute. And if you're worried that showing too much intent right off the bat might be too much, it's probably because you're actually just scared. You might think you're being polite, but a lot of times when guys say they're being polite, that's actually a synonym for I'm actually too scared to say what I think. Because you can still be very respectful and be like, wow, you look really fucking good. Wow, you look amazing. You can do that without objectifying her, without overly sexualizing her. You can be very direct, but state it like it's a fact. One way that you can think about it is if you're going to show intent to a girl or tell her that she looks really good, you can just say she looks really attractive without any sort of meaning behind it. Almost like you would say the sky is blue. Like, wow, the sky is blue. You'd be like, wow, you're really hot. Like, it doesn't affect you. And that actually helps a lot. It comes off a lot more attractive because you're not afraid to say that you're attracted to her because you're saying, hey, I'm not going to let how I perceive you and how attractive you are affect how I perceive myself or how I act around you. And that's one of those powerful things, not letting her beauty and her attractiveness control you and not letting that aura kind of take over how you act. Step number 3 with being bold is if you hesitate and you don't approach right away, you didn't lose the opportunity to be bold. You can still go back and talk to her. I just showed you an example of me walking past a girl and then going back and talking to her. You can still do it in a very bold way. You can still approach a girl. If you walk past her, you miss the opportunity, you can be like, man, what kind of man do I want to be today? And you can loop back and you can fucking talk to her. These are the 3 things that you can do to come off a lot more bold in your interactions because you don't want to be having these conversations where you feel like you're walking on eggshells, you're stuck in your head, you're worried about coming off polite and nice and I want to be respectful. You will be respectful if you're a respectful person, but that doesn't make an excuse not to be bold when you approach. No one ever gets anything in life by going half-ass for something. You have to go full ass, all right? You have to go after what you want, and you have to do it in the most bold and unapologetic way possible, because if you half-ass it, you're gonna look fucking stupid. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you want more videos from me, leave a comment, what do you wanna see next? I'll see you guys in the next one.